Hi, and welcome to the Jensen Jensen Podcast.
We're each a Jensen. You're a Jensen. I'm a Jensen. We're going to be co-hosting.
And we're going to be discussing all things health and fitness and physiology and physical therapy.
All things like big and small about health in the human body.
So stay tuned. So on today's episode, we're going to be discussing who we are, what we do, what we've been up to, and what this podcast is going to look like in future episodes.
So there's no content in this one. We're not going to be breaking down any scientific thing, physical therapy, physiology, anything like that. We're just going to be talking about ourselves.
Well, maybe a little bit of that. Because
maybe a little.
We're going to be going over the latest bodybuilding show that I did.
Okay, right.
But other than that, not too much.
But let's introduce ourselves. So I will introduce you. And
I will introduce you.
You will introduce me. And if we miss something, we can just kind of scoop on our details onto the other person's summary. So Marie, my wife, you started bodybuilding in
2012.
2012. You got your IFBB Pro card in 2017.
Correct.
2017. Between 2017 and now, you finished a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a DPT, that's a doctorate in physical therapy. And then you passed the boards and you started working as a physical therapist, all while being an IFBB Pro.
Correct. Yeah, I don't need to add anything to that because that sounds pretty
accurate.
Because I
can summarize my wife well.
Correct. Okay, so moving on, we're going to introduce Courtney, who is my husband. And a little bit about him. He is a tenured professor at the local university here in town, and he teaches muscle physiology, epidemiology, and other courses in the health and science field.
Other physiology courses, yeah.
Yeah, stress physiology, which
stress
is a
physiology.
Good one. Anyways, he teaches all of those courses, and he's an avid researcher. He published how many articles?
2 came out this month.
Yeah. In addition to
a long history of articles. Those just 2 came out this month.
Yeah. A lot. So he is one of the best writers that I know.
I'm one of the best writers I
know. But he also has been working on a fantasy novel. So he is on book 3 right now of the series, which I can't wait for it to be done. So did I miss anything?
You didn't miss anything.
Okay.
My wife knows how to summarize me too.
So that is who we are.
Okay, so topics that we're going to get into in the future, looking forward, future episodes of this, I would say risk classes or risk stratification, whether it's fall risk or cardiac risk assessment, how dangerous is participation in exercise across the lifespan, something like that. How to stratify people in terms of risk classes. And then we'll get into a lot of, I would say, muscle function, because we each have in the Venn diagram, those circles, our circles overlap a little bit, but we have a lot of independent space. You on the mechanical therapeutic side, me on the sort of cellular physiology side. And so we'll be tackling those from a very broad perspective.
Well said. I don't really need to add too much. So I'm actually looking forward to this.
Me too. Part of what I'm looking forward to is the project with my wife, a sort of a scholarly, creative project together. But part of it, I think each of us is going to learn along the way.
And that to me is the most important part. And what I'm also looking forward to is being able to share with everyone the perspective of a physical therapist and a physiologist and a researcher and just 2 people who are coming together who want to do good for others. And part of that is our contribution in teaching in a way to all of you on the aspects of health and fitness.
And we're human beings, and so kind of in the time in which AI is advancing and taking over with a lot of slop, most of that isn't actually accurate. So if you watch something or read something that's AI generated, maybe 3/4 of it is accurate, but will be nothing on this podcast is going to be the tiniest bit AI generated. 100% human being with expertise, independent expertise, providing the best information that we can.
So if you guys have any topics that you want us to discuss or look into, please comment in the comment section below and we'll be happy to look into that and potentially do some future podcasts on that.
Some Q&As, some Ask Me Anythings, those sorts of podcasts. And we might do deep dives into some of them if the pool is deep enough for those questions.
So the topic of today's episode is just going to dive in a little bit deeper about what we've been into and going over the latest bodybuilding show that I've done. So
yeah, you just finished a bodybuilding show. Do we want to start there?
We'll end there because I want some photos of that to kind of go over all of that.
Okay.
But first, what have you been up to lately, Mr. Jensen?
I've been writing a lot. Outside of the natural sciences, I have my fantasy novel series, which is heavily based in the natural sciences. And so it takes place on a secondary world, think Middle Earth kind of a world. And it has a biologically realistic, very believable bestiary. Every creature adheres to biological principles. So if somebody's interested in both fantasy, adult readers, although it's very clean writing. But it's just the use of language and the complex themes aren't really I don't think kids would appreciate it. But if somebody wants to learn biology through a fantasy setting, this would be a good series to do that.
So a lot of writing, I would concur with that, what you've been up to lately. Not only that, but you not published yet, but you submitted how many abstracts for American College of...
18, I think, yeah.
For ACSM's coming up, American College of Sports Medicine.
Yeah, so I think I have 18 abstracts in review right now for that.
Yeah, so he's been...
exhausted.
Productive with writing, and so that kind of summarizes what you've been up to lately.
Okay, now let's get to what you've been up to, because I think you have reason to be more exhausted than me.
Yeah, I haven't had time to really feel the exhaustion yet.
Yeah, this is like day one of available time, and we're spending it doing this.
We like to keep productive, as I call it, fruitful. And so what I've been up to this year has been finishing up the DPT program at Tufts University. Graduated in August. I was doing my clinical rotations up until then. And then right after graduation, I started working right away on a temporary license until passing my boards in October. And
in a cut phase for a bodybuilding show the entire time.
Yeah, so I started prepping for the show, like really dieting down and like having a mapped out plan in August. So graduated in August, started prep in August, started work in August, and then board exam in October. And then I competed December 5th or 6th, December 5th, I think
Early December.
Yeah, and that's what I've been up to lately, so.
It was intense. And did you want to talk about the show now? Or okay.
So let's get to the show review. Okay, so next we're going to end this episode talking about the latest bodybuilding show that we just mentioned. And so that was Spectrum Fitness, Battle of the Bay, IFBB Bikini Pro, so International Federation of Bodybuilding. If those of you who don't know what that is, that's what it stands for. And so we did that show December 5th or 6th. I don't remember. We'll get the show dates for sure down. But this prep, again, it started back in August, was one of the easiest preps for me. And it sounds crazy talking about it because I was just graduating, I was just starting this new career, and then
the board exam. But there was a structure.
Yes.
With school, there's a structure with the career.
And I realized then that I am a person who loves the structure and routine, and like I need those. I just thrive on that. And so
I thrive on an unstructured life where I can fill it with my ambitions.
Yeah.
Yeah, your ambitions, it's like decorating a Christmas tree, where it's like, all right, here's all the arms, and I can just hang a little accomplishment on every single one of them.
Yeah, and so for me, this prep was the easiest because I had that structure. Going to work, whatever, 8 to 5 or 9 to whatever it was, and just having that set routine. So easiest prep so far.
The meal prep every single morning, so you'll weigh everything out, and then it's there at work, and you have a specific time.
Yeah. If I was able to eat it, like sometimes I'm so busy at work that I'm like, oh, it's lunchtime and I've only had X amount. But luckily...
You're eating lunch in the car on the way home at the end of the day. Yeah.
But luckily, and we'll talk about this in future episodes of things I did to help maintain that muscle integrity, thanks to him. I asked him a lot of muscle physiology questions like, hey, what should I be doing? So that'll be future topics.
I think one of the problems, I'm not going to get into the physiology here, but when people are trying to cut weight, they're trying to lose fat, not necessarily for a bodybuilding show. They're trying to lean up for health. lean up to have the mirror be more flattering. I have a beach trip coming up. I have a wedding coming, whatever it is, whatever people's goals are. People lose a lot of muscle and they don't have to. There's no reason why they have to. They just aren't doing it right.
Yeah.
And so, but especially getting that lean for a bodybuilding show, some muscle is going to be cut along the way, and minimizing that catabolism is the goal. And so we talked a lot about that and worked through it in this prep.
Yep. So easiest prep so far, I would say. And so now let's talk about a little bit about the peak week. So for those of you who don't know, peak week is the week or two. It's actually the first week leading up to the show. So it starts on about Sunday or Monday, depending on like how you do it. For me, it started on Monday, and then it leads up into that same Saturday show. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever. So this peak week show is actually really different because I didn't do anything different. I just kind of eased into it. I was going into, so the 2 weeks before, I just kind of transitioned into that week. The only thing different that I did do was I had Courtney write up my Thursday, Friday, and Saturday meal plan of carb loading. And here's the photo of him writing out my meal plan. And it was just took out the stress, and he was really good asking specifics of like grams and whatnot. But
a lot of that, though, a peak week, maybe we can talk about this in the future, not immediately in the podcast, because that applies to a very narrow population of people. So this would be more in like a Q&A section. But during a peak week, people destroy their kidneys, and there's no reason, you don't have to. I think people just don't know how to do this. They don't have the fundamental knowledge of physiology to know how to look extra lean, how to peak. It's called peak week because you're supposed to peak on stage. And yet you can peak in a really unhealthy way, or you can peak in a way where your organs don't mind you doing it. And so that's a lot of what we're working with.
Yeah, and when he says kidney issues, that's in regards to
the hydration and sort of the sodium consumption and water restriction, and a lot of this that people will go overboard on unnecessarily. And
we did none of that.
Yeah, none of that. I mean, and the kidneys, they heal okay. The kidneys are decent healers. I mean, the liver heals a little bit better. People mess that up more. we can talk about organ health in future episodes, but doing it right, being healthy, so you come out of the show and you haven't ruined yourself. Because tomorrow is still going to happen. You know, the day after the show exists. So it's not like, well, there's show day and that's it for me. You want to keep going for years to come in a healthy body where maybe you can do this again in the future, or you're just going to be healthy for the next decade, 2 decades, 5 decades. It depends how old you are.
So that was the main difference here, was that this peak week we did none of the sodium or water manipulation or any like diuretics or like the natural diuretics, whatever. We did none of that. And to me, that is health. That is the healthy way to do it. And it just felt good. I felt really good going into the show. And here's a couple of photos of the stage shots. And I already knew going in, because I haven't been on stage in over 3 years.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, right before I started the physical therapy program, I did the last show. And
was
then
that the Utah one?
That was San Diego.
San Diego.
Yeah, and I didn't compete knowing that I wanted to do well in my program. So I told myself, okay, we'll wait until after, and that's what we did. And so it took me, over 3 years, and then I stepped on stage again. And so I knew going into this show, I could have had a couple more weeks of conditioning. And that was some of the feedback. So some of the feedback that Sandy Williamson, she's the head judge of the IFBB Bikini Pro, she said that just a little bit tighter glutes, which I knew. She actually told me a thing about my back pose, which I didn't really know. So I'm really glad I got that feedback for the future shows coming up.
I know she said broaden your lats. Is there like a postural thing that she said?
One of the judges, so Sandy Williamson actually gave me the feedback in my back pose to point my toes straight, because they were a little angled out and it made my quad sweep more overpowering than my glutes, which has always been something that, just my stature. I'm short and stocky and I have really big quads for my size. And so I need to like pose in a way where where they're not emphasized as much.
Where you pretend your quads are smaller than they are.
Yeah. So that was
there's an optical illusion, and my quads are a little bit smaller. Most people are trying to make their quads look bigger, probably, because quads are a hard muscle to grow. But yeah, you don't really do quad exercises and you try to hide them.
Yeah, so I'm going to be running a lot more for future cardio, for the future preps. So that was feedback 2. So tighter glutes, back pose, and then another judge, not Sandy, but one of the other judges said to grow my lats a little bit more in my front pose, which I think is going to be a lot of fun because I love growing muscle. So that's going to be fun. So let's see, tight glutes, back pose, bigger lats, and I think that was it. She said hair, tan, everything looked good, posing, like routine, and that was it. So moving into 2026, this is something I haven't been able to do ever as like an amateur or pro, was actually map out competitions for like a full competition season. So we already looked at future show dates, and we're not going to mention it yet, but stay tuned. You guys can follow us along as we prep for an actual bikini pro season. I'm really excited about that.
So there will be multiple shows, and we will be updating you about her cutting, her progress,
supplements I take,
supplements,
what I'm eating.
Yeah, the science of the journey, not just the facts of the matter. I think that's what a lot of people would do, is like, now I'm week 6 and look at my abs. Or okay, that's not interesting, right? What's interesting is, all right, here are some basic facts of the matter. Here's the physiology, right? That's going to explain this. Here's how to do it yourself in a healthy way.
The explanation part.
The explanation is what people actually care about.
And so we welcome you all to the journey with us along the way coming up in 2026. So stay tuned, and yeah.
Okay, so that's the end of today's episode, and we will see you again shortly.
Soon.
I don't know that we even have a structure planned yet for when we will see you, but I can promise we'll see you soon.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in.